He just said to me once, he goes, you know, you're going to be bald. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he took a photo and it was like a bit thin on the top here.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, that's just Prince Charles. I go, that's natural. And he goes, we'll wait and see.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video here at Baldcafe, sponsored by Leaf Shave. Sometimes there are men out there going through hair loss. They're kind of at peace with it. In today's video, guys, we're speaking with Elias. So like other guys, Elias just fancied maybe giving the buzz cut a go. And he got in touch to share his story, share that moment. So let's hear from Elias why he fancied giving that buzz cut a go.
The whole balding thing, it's in my family. Like my old man's completely bald, grandparents, papa, all bald from about 18, 19. In my head, I'm like, I'm going bald at a certain stage. My first cousin lost it at 25. My dad's dad lost it at like 26. My dad lost it at like 26, 27. And I'm 30 now. Man, it was pretty good. It was never like, oh my God, I'm going bald. What am I going to do? It was more of a, during the COVID lockdowns, I just saw a lot of mates that were also going and losing their hair. It affected them quite a bit because they didn't expect it. And I always was thinking, worst case scenario, I go to Turkey, do a transplant. The one thing that got me the most was the whole aspect of we tried to do everything to avoid the inevitable rather than accepting the inevitable. And if we don't like it, trying to change it then. So like as soon as you're going bald, why don't we just shave it and see how it is? And if we don't like it, let it grow back a little bit and then we try to fix it. So I think the whole society construct of like just the pressure that we've got as men doesn't let us think that way, because we're forced to think it's all about image. It's all about what other people going to think and what I'm going to do if I lose it all. And I personally run events. So like my whole thing is about appearance and talking to people. That kind of got me as well. It's like, I'm a confident person. I wasn't good looking when I was younger. So I had to get a personality and learn how to talk to people.
So you checked out the videos and stuff and you thought, oh, maybe the first step is to get comfortable with it first. So we've got Elias here and he's ready to give the buzz cut a try. Just give it a go, see what happens, right? But let's hear how he first found out he was going bald.
Well, I think my dad noticed first. He just said to me once, he goes, you know, you're going to be bald. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he took a photo and it was like a bit thin on the top here.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, that's just Prince Charles. I go, that's natural. And he goes, we'll wait and see. So it was always like a banter thing from about 18, 19. He sent me to a clinic to be like, oh, is there anything we can do to prolong it? I think because he went through it, he was trying to prepare me for it.
Prepare you for it, yeah.
So I was always aware that I was going to lose my hair. And the first time I really kind of was like, okay, it's time. Had the hair in a bun when I was playing soccer. And that's when the receding started.
Right.
So then I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I'm tying it up and pulling it back. And then maybe a year or two later, my sister got married in Greece and I was at the beach with this girl I was dating at the time. And she basically said in Greek, she goes, oh, you've got a keftevaki, which means like a meatball. In Greek, it's like a saying of like, oh, you've got a meatball size of thinning.
Right, I get it. Yeah, like the bald spot, right?
Yeah. So I think I was about 27, 28 then.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, it's about
happening.
time that it's, yeah. And only the last, I'd say, year during COVID, that's when I'm like, with all the stress and everything, I think it's kind of advanced it a bit. I got people that like are like, oh man, you're fine. But at the same time, I don't want it to beat me the way like you realized in your initial video. Yeah. And you're like, I want to beat this. Like, I want it to be my decision.
Yeah.
And then you grew it out later.
Yeah.
So you could be comfortable with it. From young, I always told people when they said something like, man, you got good hair, I go, enjoy it while you can because I'll be bald in 5 years. Yeah. And I was like, no, you won't be. I'm like, trust me. I go, enjoy it while you can. And then you're going to have to deal with me being bald. So I think it kind of prepared me in a banter way. Even girls that I was dating, I was like, don't.
You're always honest about it. Yeah. That's the key point, I think.
100%. So like, even if I'm out like within the first 2-3 dates or out for drinks, they'll be like, oh, you're really good looking and whatnot. Like when you're talking one-on-one at the bar. And then I'll jokingly bring it up and be like, well, my whole family's bald, so get used to it.
The word like being sure of yourself comes with like a negative connotation, but you know, you have to just be real with yourself. There's just a level of like comfort and confidence that comes with that, you know, when you just like, it is what it is, you know. Now, Elias, he's confident going in, but has the hair loss had any kind of negative impact on his life? Have there been times, I mean, like you said, you got influence from your family, you said you got friends who are rocking the shaved head. You know, I described that fear of like how I was going to look. I even went as far to being like, am I going to be able to get jobs that I want? You know, like you said, you hold events and stuff. I don't know if you ever thought like, oh, if I do have a shaved head, is that going to hold me back? Have those things ever been a factor for you?
I run my own events, so it's like, it's all me, but it is all about perception. So it's like dress to impress, look good. Our dress code smart casual. You have to do yourself out every time you go out. So I think in terms of like picking up, that's always a concern. Just because it, one, make me look older. Two, don't know what I'll look like. I won't lie, it did affect me in the last year because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because no one had seen me for a year. So like instead of going out and running events and being in the eye and being on photos and uploads and whatnot and people's stories, it just went from, oh, he's not too bad to, okay, he's thinning now. So like in my head, that was like a mental barrier of like, oh shit, like people's eyes didn't become accustomed to what I've been going through. It's the same thing as like, I'm short, I'm like 5'7", 5'8", right?
Yeah.
And I've dated maybe 2-3 girls taller than me, way taller. And it's always the same look. Like, why are you talking to me? You're short. And it's like, sorry, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then they give you that same energy of like, okay, now I'm interested. Because that's the type of thing when you're at bars, you play off each other. So, well, there's always an insecurity that someone has. Well, my nose isn't perfect. My smile's not the best. Or like, I can't grow a full beard as a guy, like things like that. So there's always something that I think if once I shave it off, there's going to be something else where I'll be like, oh, I got big ears, man. Like, you get me? There's always going to be something else. So I think everyone's the same as well. There's always something that they battle that you don't know. It's easy to say, but like that's what I want to mentally kind of get to, especially after like this year of being locked down. I can still maintain it pretty well. Like, especially in certain lighting, like if you're in the white lights or whatever, or in the sun, then it kind of becomes visible that it's thinning. But like in terms of a nightclub, you can't really tell. So it hasn't really affected me too much. And no one's really kind of bought into it. There's been 1 or 2 comments from mates where one of my mates is like, I think it's time, man. Like, I think you, and I'm just like, and then I've had 1 or 2 comments from girls like that I'm close with that have kind of bantered me as well.
Yeah.
But they're like 12 months too late. Like that would have affected me early on, but it's at the stage where it's just like, where mentally I've played this through my head. So anything that someone says now is just like, I already know that. Someone tried to like put it on me outside a club like a month ago or 2.
Yeah.
One of my mates was talking to her and she just brushed them off, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, look, I go, honey's just being polite. Like, there's nothing to it, right?
Yeah.
And then she said something like, oh, relax with your receding hairline. And I'm like, I'm a 30-year-old man with a receding hairline. I go, and like, what's your point? Like, is that the only thing you can go at because you were being rude to my mate? And then she just was like, gobsmacked.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
yeah, that's the way to do it.
Up to it, there's nothing. So I've already told my barber's thinning as well.
Yeah.
He knows how to cover it up, kind of thing. So
right.
I'm just like, it's time. And he goes, I can still help you out. He goes, I've got worse that I cover. And I'm like, yeah, but I think it's time.
Now Elias felt it was time to do something about it. Let's hear what his plan is going forward. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'll go completely shaved. All my mates are saying, or especially the ones that have shaved heads, they're just like, man, go 0 all the way up on the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then go like a 1 or 2 on top. And they go, see how you look. If you like it, then shave it.
Yeah.
And then obviously blend it down once it starts. Because I personally don't know how visible it will be.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to try it, you know, just try it, I guess. Yeah. I mean, you know, when you still have like something of a haircut, when you do it like that, it's like the mid step, you know, to go from a like hair to that. And then you think, oh, well, a little bit further, like it's not already, it doesn't seem like, it doesn't seem like such a massive jump, especially for someone like yourself. And, you know, that was what I did, right? I started with like I can't remember if it was a 1 or a 2 myself actually. And then like proper just skin on the side, like skin faded up.
Yeah.
For me, the problem was because all this was going like in the middle.
Yeah, that's where
it gave me like that.
I've got it.
Yeah, it gave me like that 3. You know, it looked like I had like nothing hair, then like nothing or like less. You know, so yeah, man, see how you go. Now, just like that, I had a message from Elias a couple months later telling me it was go time. Elias at the barbershop there went for something of a gradual approach, which is what I kind of did. But over the next few days, he also tried a few more things. Let's hear how the story plays out from there. I think you just wanted to get comfortable with it in that regard, or you already felt comfortable, but you just really wanted to go there, almost, I guess, like test yourself a little bit. I mean, talk to me from that point, like how it's all played out.
Yeah, well, I put it off a bit because I had a few events on. I was like, oh, I've got this on, I've got that on. I ended up shaving it to about a 2 on top.
Yeah.
And straight away I was like, oh, I don't mind the shape of my head, which is, I think, what most guys say on your channel. I think the recedingness makes your head look worse, the shape. And once you shave it off, you're like, oh, it's actually not too bad. And the initial reaction was like, oh, I should go shorter here. So I ended up leaving the barbers. I got home and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to go upstairs and shave the whole thing off on no guard, or I might go on a 1. And my old lady, because she didn't know I was doing it, she just saw me. She's like, oh, looks not bad. She goes to me, why don't you peroxide it? So I ended up peroxiding it, and it kind of worked well because from afar, it looked like I had shaved my head completely. And it was only when people got closer, like, oh, you've dyed it. I thought you shaved your head off. So it was a good, like, stepping stone for a lot of acquaintances that I knew that would see me out, kind of thing. The close mates, they try to make fun of me, but they're like, it kind of looks all right. Like it kind of suits you. So I'm not, the one concern I had was that when I did go to R2, that's when I realized how like patchy it would get, and it's becoming to get. So it's kind of thin here, and a little bit there, especially in like certain light when you're under white lights and whatnot. That's why I was like, straight away, I was like, well, I don't mind it too much. I might as well go shorter, peroxided it. It looked like I haven't done anything for like 2 weeks, so I need a clean cut. But besides that, like when it was, I think I sent you a photo when it was like short. Yeah. It looked like I was kind of clean shaven from afar. So I think next time I go for a cut, I'm going to go half on top and probably 0 on the side. And then I'll just leave it like that and just keep the beard trim. So
going from here, you think you're going to keep like that short buzz look? Is that where you think you'll go with it?
I think I've got another maybe 2-3 months where the no guard / maybe half on top will look good. And then I think I'll get to the stage where I will have to clean shave it. Like I said, from afar, most people were like, oh, you've shaved your head. So they've already got that image in their head that it's being shaved. I think the main issue I had with not shaving the head was the whole type of like cultural environment we live in with social media and whatnot, where it's just like, you got to get something fixed before you try something out. Like it's the worst. So like in my head, it was like, well, why am I not confident enough to shave it to see what it looks like before I make the decision of spending 5-10 grand on plugs and a transplant? What like I've gone through mentally is like, oh, okay, certain lighting, can people realize that I'm kind of receding? So a lot of people, like for me, like I saw where I'm receding more when I shaved it. Yeah. And a lot of people are still like, man, you're fine on top. Like if you went, when I first had it at like half or 1 on top, they're like, man, it's fine. You can't really tell. Now you can kind of tell because the peroxide is where it's blonde here and the brown's kind of coming thicker through here. You can see the gaps. Yeah. So if I went back to half, it kind of hide it. So a lot of people are like, you can't tell. To me, I could tell. And then when I shaved it shorter, I was like, okay, that's where it's kind of gone a bit thin. Yeah. That was one of the thoughts that you had when it was longer as well. It's like, where can people kind of see it when most people don't even really realize what's going on? It feels good, man. Especially like now it's a bit grown out, but when it's half, like, yeah, man, I ran the event and every second person that knows me was just straight on it. They're like, yeah, let's have a feel. Let's see what's going on here. So yeah, it was quite fun. Like I feel more uncomfortable at this length than it was when it grows out 0 on the sides and half. Yeah. And I could be myself again. Like like I said, I'm a bubbly personality. I'm an event, so I talk to people. Like there was nothing holding me back once more. So it was just me being myself, honest, funny, having a laugh. And like you could already tell, like my mates were like, all right, what's going on? Why are you so happy tonight? Are you been drinking? And I'm like, I haven't had a drink yet, but like we're going to have a few. Yeah. But this is just me, like being me again. So that's what a lot of guys on your videos say. So like, experienced it as well. I was like, yeah, it is spot on. I'm waiting until I can actually shave it off properly. So
yeah,
I think I'll enjoy the half guard on top or the one on top, and then I think when that's had its ride, I'll enjoy the shave in the head as well. So it was a good experience, man. So it just gave me that kind of confidence to be like, all right, it's time to go and try it out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But that it is what it is. So
it's good to hear that it has worked out. And I appreciate you kind of, doing your bit, getting involved, talking about it, having these conversations, And I wish you all the best. All right.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Nice.
Thanks, Harry, man. And all the best. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
You too, man. Take it easy. We'll speak soon. All right.
Thanks, mate.
Good dude. Ciao. Cheers. So guys, there we go. I want to thank you so much for watching, and of course a big thank you to Elias for getting in touch and sharing his story. Hope that helped a few guys out there who might have found yourself in a similar situation. Hopefully Elias' story there can help you through your journey a little bit more smoothly. Guys, I of course will see you in that next video. Goodbye.